The Power and the Glory, Part 1 of 4. DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, is a hallucinogenic drug that naturally occurs in many plant species. It can also be made in a laboratory. DMT is sometimes referred to as Dimitri. This drug produces effects similar to those of psychedelics, like LSD and magic mushrooms. Plants that contain DMT have been used in religious ceremonies in some South American regions for centuries. DMT is the main active ingredient in Ayahuasca, a concentrated liquid made by prolonged heating and boiling of the Banisteriopsis caapi vine with the leaves of the Psychotria viridis shrub, although there can be a variety of other plants included in the liquid for different traditional purposes. Ayahuasca has been used for centuries by First Nations people from contemporary Peru, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador for religious ritual and therapeutic purposes. As far as its psychoactive effects go, people have described feeling like they're traveling at warp speed through a tunnel of bright lights and shapes. Others describe having an out-of-body experience and feeling like they've changed into something else. There are also some who report visiting other worlds and communicating with alien-like beings. This story is by Netrunner and comes from Erowid.org, a site dedicated to drug harm reduction and trip experiences. This story is part of a 4-part series. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos. If you want to explore some of these stories yourself, we will have the website linked in the description below. Please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us to grow and to share these real-life trippy experiences with more people. Age: 24, male. Body weight: 115 pounds. Dose: 150 milligrams oral harmaline, 40 milligrams oral 5-MeO DMT, 20 milligrams smoked DMT. Part 1 of 4. This is a rather long account of 2 extremely potent experiences with 2 forms of DMT, followed by an account of the same experience by another participant. Ayahuasca was what they were calling it. What the hell, I thought. I'm in the jungles of Mexico, in Palenque. I'm surrounded by experienced psychonauts at an ethnobotanical conference. What's the worst that could happen? Be prepared to die, our source told me, grimly earnest. Yeah, I thought, like a major mushroom trip, right? I felt I was ready. Not quite. In all, there were 9 of us forming a circle in one of our rooms, with mattresses and pillows laid out for all of us. My brother sat across from me. 2 of the 9 were experienced with ayahuasca and became our leaders. Before consumption, each one of us stated our intent, out loud or to ourselves. Mine was to experience spiritual consciousness, rather vague, this being my first time with this class of substance. Unsure of how long to wait between harmaline and 5-MeO, we decided 20 minutes should be plenty. Some of us took the entire dose, some took half. I was 24, 5'10", 115 pounds, and decided to take the entire dose. Being my first and perhaps only opportunity, when in doubt, double the dose. To quote Terence McKenna, a well-loved experienced shroomer, oops. The effects of the harmaline were subtle, energizing, like a betel nut buzz. 20 minutes later, I ingested all 4 5-MeO DMT tablets. What follows is both from memory and the account of others. It came in waves. Strong, soporific, deep, intoxicating waves. Building in intensity like watching storm waves build up on shore. Stronger, stronger, stronger. Some of us started chanting, singing. Some softly moaned with pleasure or insight. I felt queasy, nervous. Not quite nauseous at this point. I remained silent, focused on my breathing to calm myself. I started trembling, cold, gradually warming up, feeling her. The spirit of ayahuasca, calling, wanting to take me. I felt myself slowly giving in, retreating, giving in, unsure of where I was headed. What have I got myself into? I asked myself. This was not what I expected at all. This was much, much, much deeper, and unlike anything I'd ever experienced. X, mushies, LSD, THC. This was only the beginning. I was soon to learn. The experience had not really started fully yet. I laid down on my pillow and draped my arm over my eyes to block out the candlelight. It was around 11 p.m. when we started. I remained focused on my breathing, staring into the block of my arm, feeling my brain, my mind sink into a warm, absolute void outside my body. I was so focused on my breathing I didn't notice the void at first. and when I did, I sat up with a start, then slowly settled back down, trying to ease myself into it. The first waves of nauseousness started to creep up on me, and I increased my breathing rate, deeper, harder, almost to the point of hyperventilation, until the experience had drawn me even further in. I started to sink through my body, through the ground, my body going limp, numb. My breathing was still strong, hard, almost frantic. Obvious to everyone around me, I was losing my connection with my body, and it was impossible to tell if I was breathing enough or too much. My thinking mind, my inner voice, began to fade. I couldn't concentrate on words, but rather only abstractions of very deep, complex ideas. I just knew things without thinking them, like ideas were being fed directly to me. From me? My breathing rate increased, approaching hyperventilation without my realizing it at first. One of the leaders crept up to me silently with rose water, which he sprayed across my chest and face from his mouth. I started to snap back and became aware of my breathing, but seemed unable to control it. He laid his chest on mine. "Follow my breathing," he said, and forced my chest to breathe with his. I relaxed, slowed my breathing, became more aware of my surroundings, pulled back from the black. He retreated back to his mat, and rather quickly, I fell right back into the inky black void, like a deep, dreamless, waking sleep, drifting, swimming, sinking. I drifted for what felt like an eternity, my mind disassociating, deeper, deeper. The deepest of dreamless sleeps. It lasted for an eternity, me swimming in and out of it, vaguely aware, numb, drugged. And then I woke. I sat up, and everyone around me was laying down, quiet, still, seemingly asleep. Some stirred or twitched, like coming down from X or shrooms while trying to sleep. It was over. It felt like 4 to 6 hours had passed, and I felt extremely rested, aware, awake. It appeared lighter out. Dawn was approaching, it seemed. There was a slight crackling of energy around me. Visual hallucinations of colored points of light in a static textile/grid-like pattern, similar but different from shrooms. I looked at my watch. Only 15 minutes had passed. Uh-oh, I thought. That was just the beginning, the first wave. I wasn't sure quite what to do. Lay down, walk around, what? I stood up and nervous anxiety started to creep up on me. I pushed it away, annoyed at my seeming inability to get into it, relax, let it take me. Open-eye visuals seemed stronger but still vague. When I closed my eyes, there was nothing but inky black. I felt a dozen contradictions all at once. I felt like I needed to take a leak. Now I didn't. Now I did. I went to the bathroom, sat down, relaxed my bladder, and stared through the wall. And started to be taken away, being pulled, fast and hard and strong. I resisted, pulled back. I didn't need to pee after all, it seemed. I stood up, a little dizzy, started back to my pillows. My brother turned the corner, checking up on me. "Hi," he said. "How you doing?" He seemed almost alien. I almost didn't recognize him. And yet he was the most familiar thing in the world at the same time. "Good," I responded, holding my arms tight against me, cold again, nervous. Impulsively, I hugged him, tight, almost clinging. I didn't realize how scared I was until then. "Wow," I said. I made it back to my pillows, laid down. She took me fast, much stronger, much harder than the initial wave. The first wave was nothing. I lost all awareness of my body, my surroundings, everything around me. I felt myself fall right through the earth, like a neutrino, like the earth was nothing but empty space. I left my body completely and dissolved into the universe. My mind became placed into the mind of the universe, expanded into it, knowing everything to be known, but completely unable to think in thoughts, words. My mind voice was completely gone, yet I was completely aware of ideas, knowledge, wisdom, abstractions, which were so perfectly clear and understandable to me outside of any known constructs of language, way beyond language, completely non-linear thought, and yet not thought. Just knowing, pure knowing. My mind, my consciousness, my poor little brain struggled to keep up with everything streaming in, struggled to fit the mind of the universe within it. She spoke to me, tried to calm me, tried to explain. "You're dying," she said. You're dying. Isn't it beautiful? I felt myself, my mind, me, turn inside out, again and again. It came in waves, slow imploding inward waves, which twisted and folded me inside out again and again, and each time was a death, a shocking, terrifying, incredibly beautiful, intense, joyful, incredibly profound death. I died over and over, hundreds of times that night, all while she tried to coax me, show me, teach me, love me. I felt like Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna reveals himself in his full glory, only the brilliance was all in thought. There were no visuals, just pure inky black emptiness, void. Something in me wouldn't break, though. Something in me held back, even still, after all those deaths. It wasn't just fear, it was love. I wouldn't give her my heart, my emotion, my pain, my core. She gently pulled and tugged. "Let go," she said. "Just let go." That's it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to stay tuned to see what happens next. If you enjoyed this story, or if you have any requests for other crazy drug experiences, please leave a comment below and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for sticking around till the end. See you in the next video. Stay trippy.